Hello and welcome back to Shulchan HaRav. We continue in Hilchos Netilas Yadaim, Siman Kuf Nun Ches, and we pick it up with Sif Yadayim. Yadayim. Anyone who eats the food without drying their hands first, it's like he's eating bread that's tamei shenemar, as the pasuk says. There's a pasuk in Yechezkel. Yeshenamar kacha ye'achlu b'nei Yisrael es lachmam tamei bagayim. This is how the Bnei Israel ate their bread tamei amongst the goyim. Lachmam el lach mayim. Don't say their bread, rather say wet with water, meaning if they're eating something that's wet while their hands are wet, if they're eating something while their hands are wet, the food they're eating becomes tummy. But furthermore, lachmam tamei begamachia beloy nigvidayim. The numerical value of the words lachmam tamei in the pasuk equals the same numerical value as the words beloy nigav yadayim without drying one's hands. So there is an allusion to this concept. Yesh proportion. Some say shetumazu hi mimayim harishonim shenitru mehayadayim, that the tuma that is being transmitted through the wet hands is from the water that the first pouring that goes on your hands. That water becomes tame from your hands that were tame, and then you have to pour a second time to get rid of that. If there's not enough of those first waters, those waters become tame. So that's why you're supposed to wash with the revias. And even though the second splash will make the first ones tahar, nevertheless, one should ideally remove all the original waters completely through drying, and they shouldn't dry on their own or be dried up, so to speak, by the second waters. You got to make sure all your hands are totally dry. You need to rub them with a towel, a bishar devorm, some other thing, because the rubbing will also make them more tar, make them more readily tahar. If someone dunks his hands in a mikveh instead of washing them, or similarly, if a person washes his hands at the same time, it's someone someone else is pouring the water. And he pours the revius in one shot. Or he pours on one hand the revius, and then he pours another revius on the other hand. Then there is no tamei mayim, because the revius will prevent the tumah from coming on. It gets rid of the tumah. Then you do not have to dry them. Nevertheless, it's still not very nice. If someone is not, someone thinks it's icky to eat food with wet hands, then it's not nice. You should dry your hands. Some say the tumah is actually due to the unpleasant nature of wet hands, because something unpleasant is referred to as tame. Like the pasuk says, lachmam tame, their bread is tame, and it's really talking about when their hands were wet. And the same thing would be if you poured the revius in one shot, meaning the same thing. If you poured in one shot, also it would not become tame. The only leniency is when a person is toiveling his hands instead of washing them. That there is Susan, that the Chazal were not concerned about making a takana. You should dry your hands to purify them from something that's icky. Ella kishimitahara mitahara, unless it's only when you have to be matara them with actual tumah. Which is the chum said you have to use a kli. But tvila, if you're matara them with tvila instead of washing, shehi ke'ain tahara shel Torah, which is almost like the taharis that takes place in the Torah, meaning the Torah requirement of tahara is in a mikvah. Shehi tvila, that's dunking in a mikvah. So if you're doing that with your hands, so there is no takana of drying, because it's similar to the Daraisa. There was no concern to make an extra takan of drying. And there is reason to be machmer, like their opinion. So if you're washing with a kli, you have to make sure your hands are dry. If you're toiveling your hands in a mikvah, you don't have to necessarily dry them. And have a great day. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that's it. Have a great day.